Hey everybody, John Felt here, and this is the BWO Ag Weather Briefing for June 8th, 2024. Well, we're into summer now, and we started off with some pretty nice weather over the Midwest, some cooler weather and some drier weather, but I think it's going to feel more like summer as we get over the next couple weeks. I'll be talking about that in this week's weather briefing. Well, first of all, let's take a look at some threats. Kansas, enhanced risk today over into Missouri for severe storms. I'm also looking at some pockets of very heavy rain in Kansas and Missouri. Later this week, we're going to have some very heavy rain over Florida. And the heat is going to be most likely one of the bigger weather stories, orange being significant heat and red being extreme. Okay, now last week we had 100-degree temperatures expanding. That's this color right here, this shade, and it covered a good part of Texas, and it sort of covered right in this area, right in here. Had that high heat last week, right in this area in here. So that is going to be, matter of fact, look at that area in red. That was over 110, and I think I can see a purple here. I wish they had or pink. I wish they had a different contrasting color, but that looks like 110 in some of the desert regions of the Southwest. So another sign, a couple of signs of transition from spring to summer is the severe weather might gradually becoming more scattered and the hot temperatures expanding. Now last week we did have some severe storm activity, especially over the plains. It was not as much over the middle part of the nation, as that's because we had the stable air moved in. But there were some tornadoes last week. You can see those in red. So we had tornadoes somewhere over the central or eastern U.S. pretty much the entire month of May and now into June. Okay, we look at rainfall over the last week. And we had pockets of heavy rain over Minnesota. That was 2 to 3 inches. Scattered areas of heavier rain here and there, but you can sort of see how pot-marked it looks. So it is another sign of summer is that we're getting our rain more in thunderstorm lines and clusters and cells rather than widespread areas. But there was a pretty widespread area over Oklahoma, northeast Texas into Louisiana. Now temperature departures, even though we had that milder air, cooler air, drier air, we did average a little bit above normal for the week. But look at the western U.S. And I don't want to forget the northeast U.S. That was also an area I was highlighting for the potential for summer temperatures above normal. But you can see we looked at 6, 8, or even 10 degrees above normal over the west and the far south of Texas last week. And that was a weekly average. Okay, so let's dig into the forecast. This area of high pressure here that extends from Texas and then into the western U.S., this is that amplified flow I talked about. So it pushes a jet stream well to the north, then it sinks to the south of this area of low pressure, and that's the reprieve we had over the Midwest and Great Lakes this week with cooler, drier, and generally more stable air. Now, as we get towards the end of this week, Friday, this area of high pressure, this dome of high pressure, this heat dome expands, and this area of low pressure, this dip in the jet stream begins to retreat. That means that we're gradually going to be warming up. Take a look at this low pressure here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's something we need to keep our eye on as well this week. So temperatures, we start out with some cooler weather over the area for the next several days, but gradually by the end of the week into next weekend, most of the Midwest is near or above normal, and that's going to continue as we get towards June 18th through 23rd. So hope everybody enjoyed this cooler weather because we're going back to what's going to be pretty typical for this time of year. Now, as far as rain goes, I don't see much. It looks like it's going to quiet down with the exception of maybe this band right in here, and that could produce some excessive rainfall and flooding in that area. Other than that, as far as rainfall goes this week, it looks like a quieter week. Same thing with severe storms. Now look at Florida, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. And what is the setup here is this area of low pressure in the Gulf bringing very deep moisture into Florida. right from the Gulf of Mexico. And we might be seeing this type of pattern on and off all summer. Gulf of Mexico temperatures are already in the mid 80s. So any low pressure, any front that gets in the Gulf, we could get an area of low pressure and pull some moisture up. Next time it might be in the central Gulf, and it could even be in the western Gulf. But I think that's what we're going to see this summer and fall. And right now, the Hurricane Center does not call for that to be a tropical system. Let's keep an eye on it, though. Okay, and finally, here's the extended outlook. Let's look at week 2, above normal temperatures. Better chance of rain is in Minnesota. Everywhere else, pretty typical. I don't see anything exceptional one way or the other. So once we transition into above normal temperatures later this week, looks like right through week 2, above normal weather. Now finally, NMME, this is a long-range ensemble, just came out. I'm going to show you July, but I will also put the whole run out later this week in a post. But looks like July is going to be above normal over the region. Now this lighter shade of brown is more significantly above normal. So the Great Lakes in the Northeast U.S., and this is just what I've been saying for a number of months. The Southwest, Texas, and then the Northeast are going to be the real hot spots. But everywhere else still pretty much near to above normal. Now here's rainfall. I see pockets of brown, so we could be, I've also been saying it's a good thing we got some ample spring rain, because as we get into the summer months and it gets hot, especially with the above normal temperatures, we might be tapping into that soil moisture. That's this week's weather briefing. Hope you all have a great week. Enjoy any bit of the cooler weather that's going to last for the next couple days. Hotter weather's on the way. Take care.